Hello and welcome to a Google SketchUp tutorial on making a small chocolate. Hopefully by the end of this tutorial your chocolate will look something like this. Now bear in mind that you can pause this video and rewind at any time if you'd like to see a repeat of a process. So to start the program I'm going to double select the SketchUp on my desktop. And from here I'm going to select Choose Template in the new window. So I'm going to single click that, and now it says Template Selection and it's given me lots of different templates here. I'm going to slide up and choose Woodworking Millimeters for this. So single select on Woodworking Millimeters, and now I can click Start using SketchUp. Now SketchUp has opened with the Getting Started toolbar at the top of the screen here. For this we're going to need a slightly more advanced selection of toolbars. So you can see where it says File, Edit, View, Camera. Select the View from this toolbar, and the first one says Toolbars. You want to single click on that Toolbars. Now you can see that it has a selection of all the different types of toolbars and that Getting Started has already been selected. I'm going to scroll down and I'm also going to select Large Toolset. You can see that pop up on the left there, as well as Standard and Views toolbars. You can see as I click those they popped up around the screen. Now you can close this window and begin to start with the model. For our first step we want to select the Shapes tool, which can be seen here. Mine is already pre-selected with the circle, but if yours isn't you need to select the little arrow on the right of the drop down menu and select Circle. Now you can drag the circle to the center of the three axes points and it should snap to the middle and say Origin. There we are. So it snapped, says Origin, and the center point of the circle has turned yellow. You want to single left click and now you can drag out and the circle gets larger and smaller. Note that the radius in the bottom right corner is changing as I drag in and out. Instead of clicking again, you want to enter 15 into your keyboard and press enter. Now the circle has entered into 15 millimeters and has gone really small to the center of the screen. So you can use your scroll wheel on your mouse to zoom in to the new 15 millimeter radius circle. The next step is to use the tape measure tool. So we're going to select the tape measure tool and do exactly the same with the axes as we did previously. Drag it to the center and it should snap to the origin. Single click here and drag along the red axes. So the program recognizes that I want to drag along the red axes and is guiding my mouse as I do so. Now enter 30 with the measure tool still selected and press enter. You can see that it's snapped to 30 and has created a small black dot. The next step is to make another circle identical to the one we've already created with the new measure point as the center. So if you select Shapes, the circle should already be selected, and if you drag it along the red axes, and it should snap to the point which we just made. There we go, you see it selected the guide point, and now I can single click and I can drag out and I can see as before the radius changing in the bottom right. You can either drag to meet the end point of the first circle on the edge, or you can enter 15 and press enter as we did before. You can also orbit around the two shapes. pressing down on the scroll wheel on your mouse, or you can select the orbit tool from the toolbar at the top. The next stage is to join these two circles to create a new shape. So to do this, I'm going to select the line tool from the toolbar at the top, single click the line tool, and now I'm going to drag it down to the first circle, and it should snap to the end point of the first circle and turn green. So I'm going to select that, and now I'm going to drag it out to the end point of the second circle. I'm going to do the same on the other side. If I select the line tool, I'm going to drag it across, select the midpoint, and then from here select again, just like we did with the other side, and drag it across to the endpoint. Now you can see a new shape has formed and the gaps are filled with the grey. Now we want to delete the lines in the centre of our new shape. So I'm going to delete those two lines there with the erase tool, as well as this line which we created here. The next step is to extrude this new shape. So I'm going to select the push-pull tool from the top, single click on that, and now I'm going to drag it over the new shape. And you'll notice as I drag it over, the shape will turn a slightly blue colour and show lots of little dots to show that it's selected. So I'm going to single click once this is highlighted, and now I'm going to move my mouse upwards, and you can see that it's dragging the new shape upwards. Now from here, enter 25 into the keyboard and press enter. And now you can see the new shape has jumped and has created this new three-dimensional shape. The next step is another shape tool, so select the shape tool and select rectangle from the drop-down menu from the arrow on the right. Once this rectangle has been selected, you'll see that it snaps to the endpoint on the end of the first circle that we created, which is now joined with the second shape. So select that, and you can see I'm dragging it down along the line of the new shape until it meets the bottom, where it will snap to, the point will turn green and it says endpoint. I'm now going to click on that again, and now I'm going to drag the mouse outwards, and you can see that it's beginning to form a rectangle. Now it may snap out like it did just then, but if you keep your mouse fairly steady, it should create a rectangle that is 90 degrees to the face of the shape that we just created. Select once, and you can see now it's created a new rectangle. For the next bit, you will need to select the Arcs tool. Now the default selection for this is the tool that we need. However, if you want to go on the drop down menu, it is the 2-point arc. So I'm going to select that there, and now I'm going to guide my mouse so it snaps to the green endpoint that we used earlier. Single click here, and now drag out at roughly a 45 degrees angle, and then click again. And now if I drag my mouse upwards, you can see that it's starting to create an arc between the 2 points that we just made. And then single click. And now you can see that it's created an arc within that rectangle that we made. The next step is to select the Lines tool and join this arc from the end point, which it's just snapped to, turned green and says endpoint, single click, and now I'm going to drag the line down to meet the bottom left corner of the new rectangle. Select that once it's snapped to endpoint, and now you can see it's created this smooth line within the rectangle that we made. Select the Erase tool, and now we're going to erase the rest of the rectangle that we don't want now that we've created this new line, which is now going to be a new shape. So delete the first and the second lines of the rectangle, and now we've created this new shape on the side of our first shape. Now from the left toolbar we need to select the Follow Me tool. Now once you select that, single click, you want to hover over the face that we just made, the new shape that we just made. So you can see it highlights as I hover over it. We want to single select on the new shape, and now you can see that the program is highlighting the shape which it wants to follow. So I'm going to follow the top face here, and you can see that it highlights the line red. Now drag your mouse to follow the new shape. So you can see as I drag around, I'm going to follow the profile of our shape. I'm going to move so you can see it slightly better, and it will follow all the way around with the profile of the new face that we made until it meets the first face. Once you've got to this point, you single click and it's created a new shape. Now with our new shape, you want to select the push-pull tool again and hover over the top surface, which should highlight. Single click on this top surface and begin to drag down into the shape. Type the number 2 and press enter, and now it's created an inset into the shape of 2 millimeters. The next step is to select the 3D text tool, and it will prompt you what you want to enter as your text. You can write anything in this box, but as it's a chocolate, I'm going to write Choco into my box. In this window you can see front, align, form and height. Next to the word height is a text box with a number in it. You need to change this number to 10 millimeters and the one below it to 2 millimeters. Input these values now. Once you have done this, you can click on the button that says Place. Now that Choco, the word Choco, has been created in 3D, I'm going to select off the top here, off the View tools, the top view. So now it snaps to the top view. We are now looking at the shape from above. With my Choco selected, I can now place it onto the face in a very central position, as I can see from the top. Single click to place it. And now I can hover around the new shape, which is beginning to look like our chocolate. Now to finish off the chocolate, I'm going to select the Fill tool from the top toolbar, the paint bucket, and as you can see it's opened colours with lots of different colours here. Now as we don't have a food selection within our colours, we're going to have to make do with brown. So you can select any of these colours for your chocolate. I think colour B16 looks fairly chocolate coloured, and now I'm going to click on all the surfaces of the chocolate. You can see once I click once, it fills the colours into the new brown. I'm going to rotate around the shape and fill in all of the sides of the chocolate, including the inside lip of the inset which we just created. Once you have done this, you can create a contrast between the two types of chocolate. So I'm going to add a kind of cream white onto mine for the lettering. There we go, you can see it's highlighted Choco. That's white chocolate, whereas the rest is milk chocolate. And there you go.